Ironheart. Personally, I think it's better than a lot of the hate it's been given on the internet. Everybody on the internet is just hating it. Not everybody. Let me be specific. Some people on the internet is hating this show, and it does not deserve the hate it's been given. I kind of think I know why it's getting the hate, but that's a conversation for another day. My take on it, my original take of the first 3 episodes was it was okay, and it was getting better, episode by episode. That has continued to happen. Episode number 4, 5, and 6, it just kept getting better. It's like they said, you know what, we got this incredible show, but let's not give them the full thing. Let's just give them a taste. Just give them a taste and just build up to what we got. And that's what they did. There has been a thing in the Marvel Universe for years with a particular character showing his or her face, and everybody has said, okay, this is when this person's showing up. No, it's the next show. This is when this person is showing up. Well, that person finally shows up in Ironheart, and honestly, we kind of knew it was going to happen because they had talked about it for months, maybe a year. They said it was going to happen. It was going to be portrayed by this person and everything, and it was good to see this person. And I liked it. I liked the show. I liked everything about it. The hood. They reveal why he's robbing certain people and taking over certain companies, because it's all connected. This isn't a complete spoiler, but it's going to be spoilerish. So I'm going to say right now, spoilery review. Not 100% spoilers. I'm not going to give everything away, but I am going to say some things, a few things that people might think are key points. I am going to talk about it. So, one of the things that they do is they explain why the hood really detests these companies and why he's taking them over, and he's working his way through these companies, and they keep saying, one more and then it's the big one, and we find out what the big one is and why he wanted to go against and capture this company and hit the big one. It is his pop, his father, who turns out to be a horrible person, even worse than the hood. He didn't want his child, so he kicked him out at 12 years old and just cast him into the street. Who does that, man? You didn't have no relatives? You couldn't have him stay with his Uncle Pookie or something like that? Everybody got an uncle. Ray, somebody, an auntie, his grandmother, his mom. I mean, the mom wasn't in the house. Where was she at? Did she pass? They never really said. He could have stayed with the mom or whoever, but he just kicked him into the street. Not cool, man. Not cool. So he had this resentment that built up for years, and he came back. I'm going to go ahead and say it. They say that they believe that Dormammu, the Lord of the Dark Dimension, is trying to break through to this dimension again. And it turns out, big reveal, he is not, at least not the way they are thinking he is. It's not him, man. It's Mephistopheles, the Dark One. He's coming. And he's being played by Sacha Baron. And I gotta admit, I didn't think it was gonna be good because the dude's a comedian. But if you think about it, a lot of comedians have played dark. Eddie Murphy did Mr. Church. Not really a dark role, but a different role. Robin Williams did 1 Hour Photo. He was crazy. A lot of comedians. Jim Carrey did Cable Guy. And what was the other one? 33. They do comedians are holding a lot of stuff and they're joking all the time, but they're holding in just as much stuff as anybody else. So if you tell them, hey man, I need you to be a crazy evil person, they'll probably do it. And I mean, these are actors. So Sacha Baron, who's usually, Borat, and he's crazy, very nice, that dude was very convincing as a demon in human form. And not just a demon, he is Marvel's version of the devil. In fact, the domain that he rules over is called hell. And not hell with one L, like Hella, hell. Judeo-Christian hell. And he literally takes souls and keeps them and locks them up in hell. He's a demon, man. Just like the Bible. So he shows up and he is menacing because he is so calm and cool. And something he does, he has clearly seen American Gods, because the way he was bringing Mephisto was very much like Orlando Jones playing Mr. Nancy. Orlando Jones was going through different accents. He was a Jamaican man, and then he had a South African accent. He went through different things while he was talking to people. He embodied all of the African nations, and he portrayed that through his verbiage. And it was great, because the way he talked, especially when he got angry, his accent changed. It was like he was existing in different places all at once. Sasha did the same thing, but he spoke in European accents, and it changed. And you're listening, and his accents change. And he did it at first, but they catch it, and the guy said, "When's your accent change?" And I'm thinking, 20 minutes ago, brother. But his accent changed, and I'm thinking, he is bringing Mr. Nancy right now. And Mr. Nancy, to me, was probably the best part of American Gods. And his small part, he was only in a little bit of the movie, but his small part made the rest of the show even better. He was that good to me. He played that role that well, because I was expecting him to tell some jokes and to do something crazy, very nice, but he was menacing. He was menacing, and it was cool, because there's a moment where he's talking and they're in a public place and he's revealing certain things, and then there's people distracting him because they're in the back, they're having a good time and they're laughing and joking, and he just kind of stops and turns his head slightly, and the people are like, ah, and they just stop, and I'm like, oh, he's a presence. Because he doesn't like, zap him with magic power and hocus pocus or nothing like that. He doesn't have to, like Doctor Strange. He just stopped and then slightly glanced in their direction, and that was it. That was it. Now again, as Mephistopheles, he's the Lord of Hell, but he is also essentially a crossroads demon. He can give you something, and you give him something that you're not even going to miss it. He says, but he's clearly talking about the soul, and I thought that was great. Riri, in the first 3 seasons, she accidentally kills the Hoods. I want to say she killed him. Accidentally kills the Hood's cousin. Because, people are saying that she didn't kill him. But they were fighting, and her soup came, and she was in the soup. She could have saved that dude. Now, to be honest, if you stab me twice, and you throwing me all around, and everything, for one, you must have super soldier serum. But if you stab me twice, and you're throwing me all around, all over the place, then there's an opportunity for me to leave and maybe you won't, I'm not certain what I would do. But she left. And I'm thinking, you're in a suit of armor. You got some Iron Man armor. Baby, you could have went back and got that dude. But nah, she didn't. And even if when the doors closed, she could have repulsor raid and blast the doors open. Nah, she left. She cried about it later. She felt bad about it. But she did do it. So now she's feeling bad about what she did to the guy. And clearly, Parker Robbins knows what she did, the Hood. And there's a scene where she says, he's giving orders, I need you to do this, you do that, you do this, you do that. And she's like looking at everybody leave, and she's like, you got anything for me? And he looks at her. And the camera kind of looks at his eyes, and he's like, yeah. Oh, I got plans for you. And I'm thinking, you should have left. You know what that means. You've seen any movie with bad guys in it. You know what that means. But she hung around, I guess, she needed the money. Her friend, Ezekiel, is full-on supervillain, with his bionics and his cybernetics and everything, his implants in his arms so he can zap people with electricity and, suck the energy out. He can do all of that stuff now. He's got his superpowers, super strength, all of that. But in the comics, he's a bad guy. I don't think he's 100% a bad guy in the show. And the way they portrayed it, the fact that they even did it like that, maybe it was just a nod to the audience to say, hey, he's not a bad guy. Or maybe it's to build something in the future. I don't know. But I don't believe that dude is a bad dude. I don't know. I don't think so. I keep thinking about that Mephistopheles, about Mephisto. I'm really glad they brought him. He's got to be in more stuff. He's got to be in more stuff. And something I noticed, I'll be honest, I saw it, but I heard another YouTuber say it before this video, so I'm repeating what somebody else said, but I did saw it, I did see it, I did saw it. When he's stirring his coffee, and he lifts his spoon up, and just as he lifts it, just for an instant, you get a reflection of his true visage. You can see his real face, and it looked cartoon accurate. It looked like Mephisto from the cartoons. And I was like, they gotta do something with this. All of the build up, and then he nailed the role. They gotta do something with it. I don't know. But the show was good. They had a good fight at the end. In fact, they had two good fights three actually. They had one good fight per episode. Her final battle with Parker, with the Hood, was really good because in the comics, the cape, the Hood, is slowly starting to possess him and turn him into a demon. In the show, they show that when he's fighting her, because he's really just a dude. She's in a cape. It gives him some powers, but not enough to fight an Iron Man suit. Not knuckle up with an Iron Man suit, an Ironheart suit. And this was her special, magic powered Jimmy Rig, superpower. I built it from a car for whatever reason, suit. And there's something I was wondering though. Did the car really have those components that she used? The car didn't have no jetpack in it. How's she flying using parts from the car? I don't know. Comic books, right? Suspend belief. But she's fighting him, and she's clearly more powerful than him in the suit. But then all of a sudden, you see his hand change and his claws, and he's like whack, and he's bigger and stronger, and you can see it in his face. He's demonic. So I kind of dug that. So I think that there's something more to that. I said it before. The Hood is a good enough character, comic book wise, that they've got to have more for him. And in comic books, he unites a band of criminals. And they're like, the Hood and his gang. And it's a bunch of them. And they're terrorizing everybody. They're organized. Because you saw him in the show. He organizes people. He gets them together. He's charismatic. So I'm hoping that they do something with that. Even if it's brief. And they just flash to it and everything. I mean, they're at the end. Also, something else that's important. At the end, there is an Easter egg. There's an end credit. So when you watch the last episode, don't turn your TV off until you see it. There's only one, but there is an end credit that hints towards potentially more to come. And I kind of hope so because it was very, very nice. Very nice. I enjoyed it. In fact, I enjoyed Ironheart. The second half, the entire show really, so much that I'm going to change my previous rating. I'm going to make it a little bit higher. I enjoyed Ironheart so much that I would give it 8 bags of popcorn. 8 bags of popcorn. Because that's what I think about that. More importantly, what do you think about that? Now that you had a chance to look at the video, let's talk about it some more in the comments. And as always, if you like the video, if you like the content, subscribe. And then like.
Popcorn passport. Get your popcorn passport.